I want to first ask you about Providence because from watching on TV before the Indiana Illinois game, which started at 2, and your guys came on at what? It was 11. Yeah, you guys started 11 Central, noon Eastern. It
Yeah.
looked insane, and
And
you
we
guys were at the bar
started,
before.
we did. We did. We got
All
in
right, so
late the
take us
night
through.
before. Yeah, we
Take
got
us
in
through what it was like.
super late. We went to a bar called Murphy's the night before. It was the only place open that we could get food. So Dauster and I went there, and it was kind of quiet at that point. And then they said there, hey, you should come back at 9 in the morning because it gets crazy. We open at 9 a.m. I guess every
On
Saturday.
only basketball
No,
Saturdays, or they always are open at 9 a.m.
I think they're always open, but he said, the bartender was like, tomorrow it's going to be electric, 9 a.m., people waiting. So we got over there, I think about 9:15 and line out the door, like 30, 40 people line out the door. There were a couple other bars around the corner that opened at 10 that had the same deal. And already the students were lined up outside. It's cold as shit.
How close
And
is this to the arena? Like pretty close?
arena's right there. It's
Okay,
great.
so that's
downtown
cool.
Providence. Now the students can't walk it from campus to the arena. It's probably maybe 10 minutes or so. But and there's only, I think Providence College is like 6,000 students total. It's not a big school. It's kind of, small Catholic Big East school, but it felt like everybody was there. So, I walk in, I want to get a picture of the bar. And so I literally walk in, Rob, and I don't know if you saw the video, but I walk in and right away it's F Jeff Goodman over. And I'm like, anyway, so we bought some of the kids there. We bought like 25 beers for some of those kids that were there.
Yeah, so you bribed them to stop chanting that.
I didn't bribe them. I mean, like, again, you know how it is. Illinois fans now hate you. We'll get to you that later. But like once most of the fans are really cool, once you get a chance to like meet them and you talk to them and they're like, okay, you know what? He's not really an asshole. Now there are some that it doesn't matter. And honestly, I think some of the adults are worse, Rob. The students are students.
Yeah, right.
They can be knuckleheads like you and I were when we were students, but the adults are the ones when I'm walking by them inside the arena and they say something and they've just got that look on their face. It's like how you say it. Like you can call me whatever you want to call me. I don't care. But like it's how you say these things that is like, and actually one of the guys was a Georgetown fan. One of these guys who's yelled at me everywhere I've been that I walk into a Georgetown game. This one dude, older dude, like berates me.
But why? What have you said about Georgetown?
That they stink. I said,
well, they do.
The third stunk.
They do stink.
Patrick Ewing stunk. Like Ed Cooley's going to get this program going. All right. So anyway, let's get to the actual game. So we walk in, and I have been at the Chris Beer return to Lubbock, and that was insane, Rob. Insane. They almost tipped his bus the day before, and then you go into the arena, and you just felt it. Like you felt like this was going to be their Super Bowl forever. And you felt it at Providence, but I didn't feel it in quite the same way. And I was kind of, honestly, I was scared when I heard Ed Cooley was bringing his wife and son. Yeah. His son's older. His son's like 26, Isaiah. But I just felt like, man, why are you going to bring him into this type of atmosphere, Rob? Like something could happen.
Did you get to talk to Cooley before the game?
I was texting with him the night before, and then I talked with him.
So you didn't see him before the game?
Saw him as he walked in the building, and he told me to come back to the locker room. But I was like, you know what? I'm not bothering him at this point. Like, there's no point for what. Cooley knows how to handle things. Mm-hmm. He does. Like, if there's any, I've said this. I'm not sure there's anybody better with people than Ed Cooley in this profession. Like, literally, he might be number one. I know, like you could say, like Tom Izzo. There's some people you've been around. Matt Painter's great with people, but like Cooley.
No, he's really good.
Yeah, he just gets it. And that's why Providence fans, I think, for a variety of reasons, right? One was he left Providence. He's from there to go to not even what they consider as a lateral job, but a worse job because it's been awful. So it was a gut punch for that, but it was a gut punch for the fact that his in his kind of connection to the community, him being one of their own, him saying like, I love Providence. This is where I always want to be. And then leaving, like, it was different than, I'm trying to think of who, even like Beard's out in the community, probably at Texas Tech, but he'd only been there for a couple of years.
Well, he also had a super connection to Texas.
That's right.
Like, you couldn't deny that he was a manager at Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. He graduated from there.
Whereas with Cooley being from Providence and saying some of those things, that's going to really stoke some resentment if the situation changes. Should I watch? I saw that there's a documentary called Divine Providence out. Should I watch that to get the backstory?
No, it was disgusting. It was disgusting.
I can't believe it was like an hour 20.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
An hour 20 of somebody just making that. But that shows how pissed people were.
Yes.
You're going to make an hour and 20-minute documentary over a coach leaving to go to another school. That's insane. That is wild.
And again, here's what I'll say to you, Rob. Like, I was worried about the Providence students throwing stuff, saying stuff that I thought was over the top. They said a few chants that I thought I wouldn't have been.
Yeah, but it wasn't like crazy.
No, it was worse.
So are you saying it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be?
Lubbock was much worse, in my opinion. It was more relentless. Like, they were on Beard the entire game in Lubbock, and they have 5,500 students in the arena.
I mean, that student section is crazy. Yeah.
I think a 12:30 start probably helped Ed Cooley a little bit, but they hadn't had a chance to drink quite as much.
Well, it just hadn't been all day. It wasn't like, hey, let's start at 11. We'll go to the game at 8. Like, that's when you get into trouble there. That's when you get into trouble.
It was wild because the game was close, Rob. Like, everybody thought they were going to pound them. And then all of a sudden you look up with a couple minutes left and you're like, oh shit. They're losing.
Well, you think about how big of a win that is for Kim English. I mean, just from the sense of like, you lose that game and people would have been, wow.
No, they would have been like, he's not the right guy. Like, literally, they would have been thinking like, well, I don't know. And Devin Carter, as I said after the game, like,
he was
that
awesome.
dude should never pay for another anything. Everything he buys should be on the house.
The man that took down Ed Cooley in his return.
Well,
but I will say, and not to just keep beating this into submission, there's a flagrant foul at the end of that game that is just abysmal. And it literally ruined the end of the game. Yep. It gave the game to Providence. And that's been happening a lot lately with the flagrant fouls.
A lot. Yeah, Ed Cooley kept yelling 7-point play.
He's right. That's a terrible call. And I think the rule needs to be looked at in the offseason.
Yeah, we should get a couple, you know what, remind me in the offseason, in between your rounds of golf, we'll get a few of the officials on here, maybe the coordinators, John Higgins, a couple other guys.
That'd be great.
I actually think that would be a great conversation overall to talk about a variety of subjects, including the flagrant one.
Yeah.
So yeah, Providence, I think what they did, I think they instilled enough fear into the fans too, where they basically said, like, if you're caught throwing anything and everything's going to be on video, you will be expelled. You won't be suspended. You'll be expelled.
But I think that's how it should be like that. If you want to throw stuff on the floor at a sporting event, that's fair game. It should be like that all the time.
Dauster said there was one fan that threw something at me when I walked across. Like, nothing at Cooley, but one fan threw something at me.
Did it get close to you?
He said it did. I didn't see it.